Most people don't think of retirement planning as an immediate investment option unless they are in their 40s. For some, the realization comes even later. Burdened with expenses like house loans, medical bills, and children's education, many of us tend to postpone planning our retirement. But if experts are to be believed, investing as early as possible helps in creating a larger corpus by the time you retire. Of the many investment options, the National Pension System has become the preferred choice these days for retirement planning. Launched in January 2004, NPS aims to empower all Indian citizens with stable income even after they retire. And if you're a salaried professional who likes the idea of a comfortable and financially independent retirement, you have come to the right place. Hello and a very warm welcome to this special episode where we are going to raise awareness about the importance of timely retirement planning and the significance of NPS as an effective retirement planning tool. My name is Anuya Yadav, and on the occasion of NPS Divas, we are joined by Supratim Bandyopadhyay, Chairperson, Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, that's PFRDA, and Sriram Iyer, CEO, HDFC Pension. Welcome and thank you both of you for taking out time for speaking with us today. Would like to start by asking you about the changing landscape of retirement planning in India as compared to a lot of global developed countries, sir. And what strategic reforms are we actually adapting and planning for better retirement solutions?
Thank you, Anuya, for having me here today. It's a very important question because in India the pension landscape is quite fragmented. And we have taken a study of all the so-called retirement schemes, including NPS, APY, insurance managed superannuation funds, everything, even EPFO. All taken together, total pension assets to the GDP of the country is just about 14 to 15%. I just want to give you a comparison. In OECD countries, it is as high as 99% pension assets to GDP, and in some of the countries, Scandinavian countries or European countries, it is more than 200%. So we have a lot of catching up to do, and PFRDA is trying its best, because the only area that we have to look into is the awareness part. People are not aware that they need to have a regular income.
Mr. Iyer, 90% of our workforce is actually very unorganized. Their retirement planning is what actually comes to them on their own. How can actually NPS help them in saving for their future post-retirement?
It's a very interesting question, Anuya. So the thing is that, it is no secret that you need to have a reasonable corpus at the time of retirement for you to be able to sustain for the remaining 20 odd years that Mr. Bandyopadhyay referred to in terms of the longevity beyond the age of retirement. Now let me give you a few, highlights about NPS as a product which is not very well known, right? Now it is the most cost effective retirement corpus creation product globally, right? That's number one. Number two, if you look at the fact that it is the tax advantages that accompany an NPS product, and that's what it is known by mostly. It is an exempt tax, tax advantage that it has at every stage, at the stage of investment, at the stage of accumulation, at the stage of the withdrawal as well. It is exempt at every stage, right? So number one, low cost active management. Number two, tax efficiency. Number three, this entire process is digital, right from opening of a PRAN account, which takes less than 3 minutes, which is completely digital, right? Right up to your service request that you will have through the course of your, existence in the product. For example, if you want to change a pension fund manager, you want to change your asset allocation, all of these things can be done on a phone, through your mobile app, digitally, right? Now, I want to, also talk about one, big behavioral bias that all of us suffer from as investors, right? And that's something that is not just, common to us in India, but globally, right? Which is the fear of market volatility. One of the big features about NPS as a product is that once you start investing in this product, you have to stay invested for a very long period of time, like till superannuation. Of course, there are exit opportunities available in between, but, we don't recommend that. You need to stay invested for long periods of time. Actually, you can stay invested up to the age of 70 as well, right? What this therefore does is that it perforce, make sure that you are in the market despite the ups and downs, right? And that's a huge behavioral bias that it actually manages by design. I think that's a huge advantage that this product has. That's number one. Number two, that I want to talk about the cost aspect that I spoke about. The cheapest product globally, as I spoke earlier, right? Actually, the cost of managing money in NPS that the customer actually pays is less than 10 basis points, which is less than 0.1%. Now, let me try and illustrate how low cost actually impacts corpus creation, because we are talking about long-term period of saving money, right, which is 25 years. So let's say over a 25-year time horizon, if you are able to save 1% per annum in the form of cost of managing money, even at an 8% gross compounding rate, you will actually end up saving 15 to 20%, by which I mean that if you are to, let's say, get to with an alternate product where there is a cost of managing the money is, let's say, around 1%, you will end up getting to only 85, right? So this product is a very efficient product from that perspective as well. So it's overall, I think it's a beautiful combination of various features which actually is ideally suited for Indians to sort of use and create a retirement corpus which is very meaningful.
You have touched upon some very important points, and before I move on to that, how early one should start NPS, Mr. Bandyopadhyay, I would like to ask you that, definitely as a retirement tool, and what are some of the important benefits of subscribing in NPS?
Yeah, one, of course, Mr. Iyer has already pointed out about the cost efficiency of the product. With all kinds of costs included, CRA cost, POP charges, fund management charges, custodian cost, all taken together, it is still less than 10%. Secondly, 2-3 aspects that people look at when they go into a long-term product. One could be the safety. Yes, we have a regulation for investment and we watch the performance of our fund managers very closely. And if there is any variation, we immediately talk to them and try to see that those things are corrected. Secondly is that return. I cannot say or I cannot claim that this gives the best kind of returns, but at least it is a market-based, reasonable kind of return. Just to give an example, over 14 years, I am not talking about 1 year, it's a long-term product, last 14 years we have our investment track record. Our equity has given a compounded annual growth rate of 12.3%, equity funds. And out of fixed income funds, the corporate bond, which is still open to credit risk, that gives around 9.4% over this 14 years. It's a long-term track record. So that gives the confidence to the people it is very, very cost effective as well as it gives a good return. And thirdly, one aspect that people look into is the liquidity part. Yes, being a pension product, we don't give too much of liquidity, but at least 3 times withdrawal is allowed to the extent of 25% of the contribution of that person. So all these things are put together and you see that it is a very comprehensive product, and lastly, it's very flexible. You decide what you want to invest. Even by paying 1,000 rupees a year, you can keep your fund alive. You can pay at any point of time. You can pay any amount you wish, but only with one disclaimer that whatever amount you pay should be sufficient to be disclosed under your known sources of income, not beyond that, because PMLA guidelines will come in. Secondly, we have a Tier 2, which is an optional account. If you open it, along with Tier 1, if it is managed, Tier 2 can be withdrawn at any point of time. You can have a different investment pattern. You can have different fund managers if you wish. If you are not liking the performance of the fund manager, twice a year you can change it. So all these flexibilities are given. Once you change the job, you don't need to close your account and go. You can shift your account. So all these things put together, I believe that it is one of the unbeatable products and long term.
You've actually touched upon some of the very interesting and attractive points, I must say. And as Mr. Iyer was talking about that, we Indians actually have a habit of investing, and we do a lot of our other plannings, but our retirement planning is what we do not do at a very young age. So my next question to you is that, according to you, what is the right time to start investing so that the younger generation make sure that, the moment they start earning, they start putting in that particular amount into their NPS so that at old age they have that corpus with them?
It's a very interesting question, Anvaya. I want to share some data points, high-level data points with you before I get into the when you should start investing for retirement question. As Mr. Bandyopadhyay said, medical advances will make sure that our life expectancy goes up in India as well. Like it is in globally, it will happen in India as well, and it is already happening, right? Point number 2, the amount of time that you will survive beyond retirement of 60 years is actually edging up to 20-25 years, as he pointed out earlier as well, right? So which means that you've got a much longer time that you're going to not see any income coming through, and therefore this corpus needs to be able to sustain you and your family for a very long period of time beyond retirement, right? Thirdly, and this is also an important trend that is emerging in India. 1980, every Indian family used to have 5.5 members, Families were largely joint. Now these are becoming nuclear families. Data suggests that as of 2018-2019, the size of a family has come down from 5.5 to 3.8, and it will shrink further. Which means that the traditional, support structure that you had of the entire family supporting each other is also no longer going to be in existence as time progresses. So that's the broader macro trend that one is seeing, right? Now, I think I want to now focus on a very simple concept which all of us have studied in school, but don't understand it intrinsically, which is the power of compounding, right? Now, let me give you an example, right? Let's say you invest a certain amount of money, and let's take the example of 50,000 rupees, which is, which is under the, the whole tax advantage that you get at an 8% compounded rate of return. That will take you to a corpus of roughly 40 lakhs, right? Now, in case you were to start 5 years later, which means that you have only 20 years of journey, the amount shrinks to 25 lakhs, right? Now let's take the other example, right? So if you were to extend this from 25 years to 30 years, you can potentially make 55 lakhs. So for every 5 years that you're delaying at an 8% compound, which is an assumption that I'm making, for long periods of time, this is not a very aggressive assumption that I'm making, you're actually going to lose 15 lakhs, even if you take into account only the 50,000 rupees saving that we're talking about. So the power of compounding actually is in your favor the earlier you start. Given all the macroeconomic trends, my suggestion to anybody who is listening in today is that you should start as early as possible. Right from the first paycheck, you should start keeping money aside to help you in your power of compounding in this journey of 25-30 years.
Absolutely. Mr. Bandyopadhyay, recently we have seen quite a few changes in the NPS regulation. Can you tell our viewers a little more about that?
Yeah, actually, whatever changes we are bringing out, these are all customer centric, because we know that if we take care of the customers, then obviously they will also see that the awareness also goes beyond a certain number of cities or towns. And actually we want to go to every pocket, even rural areas also. So that's why whatever we are doing is that one is that charge structure. I'm going to tell you is that we have calculated if somebody invests 99 rupee 94 paise still remains with that person. So that much cost effective this scheme is, and we have to give charges to all the intermediaries. Secondly is that we are giving them a lot of flexibility. As I said, fund manager you can change 2 times a year if you are not happy. You can change your investment pattern 4 times a year. And all these are free of cost. You can do it. Then we are giving so many online channels for onboarding. We run our own ENPS channel. It's run by PFRDA under the aegis of NPS Trust that we have. They run the onboarding channel. And we have seen during the Corona period that the popularity of the online channel has really gone up. People sitting at their home, comfort of their home or safety of their home, they were onboarding. And I can tell you, right from April 2020 till today when we are speaking, not for a single month, our onboarding has gone down, and it is always over the pre-pandemic level at a much higher growth rate. Last year itself, 21-22, compared to 2021, we have seen more than 60% growth. So I believe slowly it is catching up, though we have a long way to go, but we are trying to make it customer centric. We want people to join, and as Mr. Iyer told very clearly, that you have to join early. So people come on online channels and ask me, what is the right time? I said the right time was yesterday. Next best time is today.
Yeah. So overall in this, digitization has definitely played a very, very important role, and how the overall NPS structure, because it is very, very digital friendly, how do you see the future of NPS in India?
So I think, if you look at the number of subscribers that have adopted NPS in India thus far, if you were to leave aside the state and the central government channels, which are segments which contribute a larger number of the subscribers at this point of time, I think we've just about started scratching the surface as far as the retail and the corporate NPS channels, as it is called. Now the fact that it is digitally enabled, and the fact that everything today happens at the click of a button, through an app, and the fact that NPS has been futuristic in that perspective, having offered all of the features. Mr. Bandyopadhyay spoke about a lot of features and a lot of options that you can exercise sitting at the comfort of your home on your mobile phone. I think the opportunity for this product to get adopted, and of course our role as pension fund managers and point of presence entities is to make sure that we are able to communicate the immense benefits that this product offers to subscribers. And I think the fact that it is digitally now available, or digitally it is so digitally capable, is something that should spur the growth over the next few years, in my opinion.
Before I wrap up the conversation, Mr. Bandyopadhyay, I would like to know that what are the upcoming changes? Are there any that are going to happen in NPS? And also, are there any awareness programs that you as PFRDA are planning for the younger generation or for all of us?
Yeah, a lot of changes are going to come, and one particular change that I want to talk about on this channel, because it has taken some shape right now, maybe the product launching will take some more time, is that we are bringing out minimum assured return scheme. As everybody knows, NPS is a market link scheme, and a lot of people come and they still say that okay, there is volatility in the market, I do not know when I retire what will happen to my corpus. So that's why we are bringing a new product under the NPS umbrella called MARS, or Minimum Assured Return Scheme. Here, if you put in money, it will be locked in for a certain number of years, say 10 years. And we'll promise a certain amount of return irrespective of market conditions. If the return is more, the upside will be shared with the customer, maybe part of the upside will be shared to the pension fund managers also, because they also have a big stake. Because if there is a downside, the downside is to be protected by the pension fund managers. So it's a big change that we are trying to bring in, some kind of certainty in an uncertain world. That is one. And awareness, a lot of awareness programs we have done and we are doing, is that all the industry bodies, CII, FICCI, different chambers of commerce, PhD Chamber of Commerce, Indian Chamber of Commerce, we have joined hands. We are talking to their partners, the industries in general, talk to their top HR guys, finance guys on online platform. Now we'll be going to offline platforms also. For the time of exit, we are talking about annuities, different kinds of annuity products, and how to wisely choose from them. Now we have started all offline programs. Last one was in Calcutta, where even I was present. And I believe after 3 hours also, people are still staying back. They had a lot of questions. So I believe there are a lot of questions, lot of enthusiasm about this product. And this is the product which is totally focused on safety and certainty after retirement. So that I believe slowly is catching up, and we are very thankful.
And on that note, we conclude our special episode on National Pension Scheme. We would like to thank our panelists, Mr. Bandyopadhyay and Mr. Iyer, for joining us today and sharing their expertise, which is certainly going to prove useful for all those watching. And to our viewers, we hope that today's session will help you plan your retirement at the right time and as effectively as possible. Thanks for watching.